Nothing Gamed presents Call of Cthulhu Apocalypse Now. Episode 5. God, I hope this coffee kicks in soon enough. From the desk of Detective Yanni Bolero, time 06:45, date January 13th, 2021. Huh, exactly 3 months. Fancy that. Anyway, this tape recording will be kept and submitted as evidence in the ongoing investigation of one Officer Nicholas Johannes and one missing patient named Jonathan Henry, who both went missing from the Mount Sinai Hospital in Greenwich Village on the night of October 13th, 2020, somewheres between 1800 hours and 2100 hours. Currently, I have 4 suspects. The last 4 people to be seen with the 2 missing individuals. A Miss Nicole Weller, who works for the construction company that has been working on the hospital for the past half a year. Mr. Remy Renard, who is a EMT at the hospital. Dr. Danielle Warber, who is apparently the shrink to the missing patient. And a Mr. Henry Ricci, who was Warber's driver for the evening. Assisting me in this investigation is Officer Michael Lee. I have chosen him for his connection to this case, in not only his missing partner and the fact that he was there earlier that night, but because he is well acquainted with 2 of the 4 suspects. I hope his empathetic tendencies can get us a little more out of the suspects, and lead us to an actual clue. I will compile more information at the end of this tape, after our interrogations, and after looking over my notes. Good morning, miss. Thank you for stopping by today. Please, take a seat here. My name is, Detective Yanni Bolero. I'm the lead, officer in charge of this investigation, ongoing investigation. This here is, another officer that is helping out with this investigation. This is Officer Michael Lee. Now we're just gonna ask you a few questions, and hope you don't mind that we're recording all of this. Do you?
I mean, if you have to.
Yeah, it's just we have policies in place. If at any point you don't want us to record anything, we can turn it off. We can speak freely. Honesty is the best policy here in this enclosed room that we're in. Okay. Officer, would you like to start this off?
Sure. So just so you know, this is not a criminal investigation. This is just a debrief, so we won't be reading you your rights. You can just refuse to answer any questions at any time. What we want to know is that you are a potential witness to the disappearance of an Officer Johannes and a Jonathan Henry. Do you recall ever interacting with them?
Yeah, briefly.
Okay. Would you say the day you recall that you interacted with them was October 13th, 2020?
Yep.
Could you just walk me through your day? Like, what did you do?
Sure. Well, I work construction on the top floors, and we were wrapping up our day and was checking everything. Went to go check on my boss, who unfortunately got hit by a beam. Made sure that he was taken care of, and then on my way down, that's when the power went out.
Okay, so for the purposes of this recording, can you explain the top floors of what building?
The Mount Sinai Hospital. We're working on the top few floors to get an annex put in and get those all fixed up.
Okay, so at what time would you say you interacted with these 2?
Work let out about 5-ish. Went downstairs, went back upstairs. Maybe 6, 5:30. I wasn't really keeping track.
5:36. And did you see them go anywhere? What happened that day? because they've been missing for about 3 months now.
Yeah, well, when the power went out, myself and this guy, Hank, that I bumped into coming out of the elevator, we just kind of met up with everybody. Power was out, the officer was there, and there was this kid handcuffed to a bed. And yeah, we were trying to get out. There was nobody there to help us.
So the hospital's emergency generator never kicked in at any point?
No, not that we saw.
Okay. And what happened then? Or was that the last you saw of them?
They were with us for a bit. We were trying to get out, trying to find help. Phones weren't working. Cell phones weren't working. We couldn't get a signal. Found out later that, everybody was there. We don't know why we couldn't find anybody, but we couldn't. So we tried to get out, and I guess the officer unlocked the handcuffs because then the kid was with us for a while, and then we were trying to go downstairs, and they were blocked. So then we tried going upstairs for a while, and then, I don't know, I blacked out for a bit. There's pieces of my memory that's missing. I woke up around near the top of the stairs, and I don't know where they were after that.
Wait, so just to clarify, so the officer and Mr. Henry were traveling with you and this group.
For a time.
Who else was in this group?
It was me, it was this guy Remy, and this Dr. Warber. She seemed to know him.
Okay.
You okay there, Mike?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's just, what does this doctor do?
She's a shrink, I think. I hadn't met any of these guys before. We all just kind of met trying to get out of the building.
And that was the entire group?
Yeah, the 6 of us all together.
And you say you blacked out. You fainted?
I honestly don't know what happened. I went down. I don't know if I got hit or what, but I did not feel right waking up, and I did not see the 2 of them. I mean, everybody kind of seemed to be in bad shape, so I don't know exactly what happened, but when I woke up, we figured let's try to go downstairs again, and we did, and that's when we could make it past the doors, and they didn't seem to be blocked anymore, so I guess someone unblocked them, but that's when we saw everybody, and then there was all this commotion, and that's when all the questioning started.
So when you came to, was the officer still there?
I didn't see him.
You didn't see him. And what time did you faint? I know this is a ridiculous question, but we're just trying to put
I don't know.
timeline.
It was dark. It was dark.
Okay. And the officer never utilized his radio to call for help?
Probably, but like I said, cell phones weren't working, phones weren't working. He didn't seem to let us know that anybody was responding, so he probably did, but it didn't seem like anybody was available to help us.
So you saw him traveling with you guys in a group. You blacked out, and when you came to, he wasn't there.
Yep.
Was there any discussion about where he went?
Honestly, I didn't ask. I needed to get downstairs as quickly as possible. And I know this sounds weird that I work in construction, but I'm great working in enclosed sites. Being on the top floors is a little jarring, so I was focused on getting back downstairs. So I didn't really ask. I figured maybe he booked already. I don't know. It's just, I don't know for sure.
So there was never any discussion about where he went or where the patient went?
I don't remember if there was.
You just accepted it as is?
I don't remember. I was just kind of focused on getting back downstairs. So there might have been a discussion, but I wasn't paying attention if there was.
I get that. Heights disorient me sometimes too. I hate going to the Empire State Building. Ugh. Top of it just freaks me out. Some people can get so close to the glass and just look down. I can't do that. I can't do that.
No, yeah. Imagine working on that when the walls aren't finished yet.
I'm going to try not to, actually.
Yeah. So you can understand how you can kind of block everything out. You want to go back down to the ground floor. Yeah.
Detective, do you have any further questions for her?
Honestly, this is, I know this is rather short, miss. We're trying to just find something, and if your testimony holds true, thank you for all your help. I don't personally have any other questions, but, what was the name of your construction company that you work for, miss?
Better is more.
Gotcha. The foreman is, one of the owners that place, right?
David
Correct?
Moore. Yeah, he wasn't conscious when I found him, but he can verify when we came out of the stairwell about what time we got out.
All right. Maybe I'll have a chat with him then. Thank you again.
Yeah. I hope you find him. I'd really like to know what happened. I mean.
Yeah. If you'd like, I know it's still early in the day. We have some fresh bagels and coffee out in the front there. Help yourself to it on the way out. No
The
harm,
good
no
bagels, though,
feeling.
right?
What's up?
The good bagels.
I'm,
No, we
I,
are city workers. No,
uh,
the bottom of the barrel. I won't lie.
I don't know what you're talking about. Rhonda picked them out. She
This
picked
man
out the
has no
best one.
taste.
I've actually come to really like the cinnamon raisin bagel. I didn't like it when I was a kid. Now I really dig it.
The
So,
sound of a
Okay,
defeated man. Thank you so much for your help. If we have any further questions, we'll contact you.
sure.
yes, correct.
Great.
Great.
All right. Thank you again, miss. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. How you doing? Please step inside. We have, you take a seat right at this table here.
Sure. Right here?
Yes, right there. Just
Okay.
sit right down. My name is Detective Yanni Bolero. I am leading this current investigation. This is a partner of mine, Officer Michael Lee, who is actually going to be here today, assisting us in the investigation as well. And we're just going to ask you some questions, if that's all right.
Sure. I understand it's the protocol, it's fine.
Thank you. Yes, we're also going to be recording this. If at any time you feel uncomfortable, you can just let me know. I will turn the recording off, and we'll move on from there. All right?
Okay.
All right, officer, you may begin.
Okay, so Renard, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, Officer Lee. How you been?
Officer Lee, listen. I know this is an official investigation, but listen, brother, don't worry too much about this. Obviously, you remember my partner, right, Johannes?
I remember him.
Yeah. So look, he's been gone for about 3 months. We just gotta look for him right now. And Jonathan Henry, can you can you recall the day of October 13th, 2020?
Yeah, I can remember it.
Okay. Just so you know, this is not a criminal investigation. You're just acting as a witness. You don't have to answer any questions you don't want to. You can walk away at any time, and we will not be reading your rights, seeing as this isn't criminal.
Sounds like a plan. Fair enough.
All right. Where were you October 13th, 2020?
So, I was in the hospital. I was in my ambulance for a bit, back and forth. I mean, it was, busy day. You know how it goes.
No, I know. What were you doing prior to being at the hospital?
Um,
Specifically, the EDP job that you responded to.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was a weird job. We had to pick up this guy who looked like he self-harmed. We went to take him to the hospital. They said, something else happened. Maybe it was an attack. We don't know. A couple of us were speculating, and then, that was basically it. When we got there, it was weird. Blood all over the place. Guy was just we put him into the van, and we took him to the hospital. They strapped him to a bed. He was unconscious. Doctors said they were going to look at him. They did their job. We did our job.
Okay, yeah, because you were with my partner upstairs. I went downstairs. What happened after I walked away?
So, we were all talking, trying to figure out, playing the game of what happened to this guy. I thought it was weird. Dude looked like a wild animal kind of got at to him. You ever seen, like, on Nat Geo, those honey badger things?
Oh, those things are nasty.
Exactly, right? It looked like a honey badger was locked in a room with him. And then he was here. And then they were talking about, maybe he did this to himself. And listen, I've been on the job for a very long time. There's certain things that, you see, right? When somebody does something to themselves, it's very particular. It doesn't look like wild craziness all over their body usually. Right? This guy looked like he fell through, all the thorn bushes at once. Right, but we were trying to figure out what happened to him, and then his psychiatrist came in. We talked to her a little bit without breaking patient doctor confidentiality or whatever. She just said that he needed some help. That's what she was there for. I talked to Johannes. Me and Johannes just talked. He drank his coffee. I drank my tea. Speaking of which, listen, I know we're recording this. I don't know if you want to pause the recording for a second, but can we get some tea? Can I have some tea? Is that possible?
You want tea? Yeah. We can pause it for a second. What kind you want?
Peppermint.
Okay, I will be right back. Just hang out here for a second. I'll be right back.
All right, no problem. So, Officer Lee, listen, I'm a level with you, man. I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what's going on. I know you said to pause the record and everything, but listen, we hung out a couple of times. You know me, man. I don't know what's going on. I really don't.
Dude, what the hell was with that honey badger comment? I mean, come on.
I'm just saying, man. Like, I'll tell you what it looks like.
No, my man, I was there. I saw it too. I mean, damn. I mean, I guess for the record, yeah, I guess.
Tell me I'm not wrong.
All right, yeah, it was a little wild. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Whoa.
All
But
right.
listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what happened to Johannes. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he went.
Wait, so when I walked away, it was you and him, and that was the last time I saw him. When was the last time you saw him?
All right, so I don't know if we want to have the same recording when the guy gets back.
I mean, it's
Right.
up to you. You don't have to be in the recording. We don't have to record it if you don't want to. You could just refuse. But between you and me, since we know each other on a personal level, like, what's up?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, and it's gonna sound weird as shit. All right.
Oh, this should be good.
Listen, we went into the hallways. We were talking. Sipping tea, drinking, yada yada yada. And then lights flickered out. Things got weird. Right. I'm just gonna assume, light starts flickering, it plays, tricks with your eyes, you start seeing weird shit, whatever. We decide, you know what, let's go up the stairs, let's try and find a way out. We couldn't get through the door. The last time I saw him, honestly, I saw Johannes, we were close to the roof, and then that was the last I saw of him. I heard from the other people that other officers that they went up there to, see what was going on, because I know it was under construction and shouldn't have been there anyway, but they didn't find him either. It's like I'm pretty sure the guy didn't just sprout wings and fly away, but
Wait, so you were up there on the roof with my partner?
yeah. We were trying to find a way out. Like, we went through the doors weren't working right, and then by the time we popped back into the main floor,
He was gone.
right, we hadn't seen him.
So he didn't come with you behind you. He stayed up on the roof.
Listen, the last time we saw him was around there. When everybody went to go look for him, when we popped back on camera, as they say that we did, because I don't understand how it didn't catch us the whole time. Listen, man, dude just vanished, pulled a Houdini. I don't know whether he went down, his own route or did his own thing or did whatever, but I haven't seen him since. Like, we were all together at once, and then the guy just vanished.
Dude, okay.
See, told you it was weird.
Yeah, very weird. Very weird. But I mean, listen, that's what you're telling me. I mean, look, you don't have to say this on camera. You could just refuse to answer any questions. And then that's it.
Listen, I'm telling you what I saw. Weird stuff. Guys went up, people came down, and apparently we got, well, you said Johannes is missing, and what was that other guy's name? Henry, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's missing too.
Alright, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Hey, listen, it is what it is. I'm just telling you what happened, man.
That was the last you saw.
That was the last I saw.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, I'm back. Had to. Girardi over in Homicide actually had a peppermint tea in his desk, so I grabbed some of that for you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sorry about that. Officer Lee, did we finish? Are we still going on? What's going on here?
Listen, Renard, it's up to you, man. You want to answer any more questions officially on the camera?
Sure, I mean, if y'all want to ask me anything, listen, I'll let you know what I know.
I am advising you that you don't have to. You could turn around and just walk away. This is not a criminal investigation.
I got you. Listen, I get it. It's, if somebody I knew was missing, I'd want to know what happened, or where they went, or what they were up to. I get it.
Okay.
I just wish there could be more help.
Well, okay. So let's just go through some facts that we have then. Do you mind telling me the names of the people you were with, apart from Officer Johannes and the patient Jonathan Henry?
Gotcha. It was patient. So it was Dr. Wilbur, or Weber, Warbler, right? Warbler? Is that how you say your name?
You close. Warber. Okay. Yep. Okay. We're just fact checking.
Dr. Warber, and there was Nicole. She was there as well, right?
Oh.
The construction worker.
Yes. The young miss that we had a talk with earlier.
Yeah, I heard. Lady that's good with a wrench. Yeah. And then there was what was his name? The driver. God, I can't remember it for the life of me. I remember he said him and I had a whole conversation about coffee too. It was interesting, right? But yeah, there was another guy there. I'm drawing him into blank to be completely honest with you.
What is
Right.
he for a living?
He's a driver. I think he drives limousines or taxi cabs, one of the two. Yeah, he was telling us about his route. He brought Dr. Warble there, Mr. Henry Shrink. Seemed like a nice guy.
Okay. Yeah, we just need all the names of everybody there because we're just gonna have to interview them all.
All right, but no, that tracks. We have he's coming in later today to talk with us too, so that'll help. All right, and then I had one more question on this.
Shoot.
So it sounds weird. How you just you were just going upstairs and then you don't remember any. Miss Nikki Weller earlier also said something similar. Right? She just kind of blacked out when you guys reached the construction zones up on the upper floors. Do you remember seeing anything while you were up there? Or, were there any shapes or something, like shadows, like someone come from your blind spot? Any colors that stand out in your memory?
Not particularly, no. I mean, lights flicker. You see weird shit all the time. Listen, I don't know if this is within your age group or anything like that. But you ever been to like a rave or a club or anything like that? Strobe lights are going and everything's starting to. You think you see one thing and then it's really another. You think you see a pretty woman and it's really not. Things happen.
Okay, I mean.
Lights were flickering, something that looks like a person is actually just, a coat on a rack, or, just caught in a weird angle. Listen, I think, weird shit just playing with your eyes, and lights go in and out, people panic, sometimes they forget things. I've seen it happen, in the street, I've seen it happen in Iraq. Listen, these things happen.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's good enough for me. How about you, Officer Lee? Is that okay?
No, yeah, it's good enough for me.
All right. Well, sir, you're welcome to keep enjoying your tea. We have some bagels. I think there might be some left over out in the lobby. You can grab one or two on your way out.
Any Bialys in there?
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Last I checked, there were no egg everythings, which was very disappointing, but it is what it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, don't trust the bagels, man. Just get off me.
What is up with you and these bagels? Why do you hate these bagels?
I mean, clearly you're not a real New Yorker if you think these are acceptable.
They're better than Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh calls them a bagel.
Hey, I have family out there. Don't talk trash about that.
Yo, what are you talking trash about his family?
I'm okay. I'm sorry. Thank you, sir, for coming in today.
Not a problem. Listen, you guys are awesome. I'm gonna take this tea. Listen, if you need anything, give me a ring. I don't mind. I'm just gonna enjoy this tea, go for a walk, head back to work. I'll talk to you guys.
I'll see you out there, brother.
All right. Okay. Lee, I'll see you. Have a good one.
Yep. Later.
All right. Good evening, sir. My name is Detective Yanni Bolero. This here is Officer Michael Lee. I hope you don't mind. Did you get over here okay? No one hurt you, or did they?
No, I am unhurt. I'm a pretty good driver, so
All right, good. I'm glad no one hurt you on the way in here.
with no problems.
Good. Officer Lee is just gonna ask you a few questions. I'm just gonna sit here, take some notes, if that's okay. Again,
Sure, that's fair. I mean, am I being charged with anything?
That's yet to be seen. We don't think so. We don't think so. We're just trying to figure out what happened. Lee, take it away. I'm just gonna set this recorder down here.
All right. Henry. Sorry, what was your last name again? Ricci,
Ricci.
Ricci,
R-I-C-C-I, Ricci.
Ricci. Okay.
It's Italian. Just like you. Your name ends in a vowel. We're all Italians. Paisan.
Listen, brother, don't worry about anything. You know, like we said, you're not in any trouble right now. We just want to find out where my partner went, and you just happen to have been one of the last few people to have seen him. So, how you been?
All right. Haven't been sleeping all that well, but, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, melatonin will take care of that. That's how I get by.
Yeah, sometime I might have to dive into something like that.
Alright. Listen, I just want to direct your attention to October 13th of 2020.
The day I remember very well.
Perfect, so this will go smoothly. Can you tell me about that day, please?
All right. I got a call to pick up the good doctor and drive her to Mount Sinai Hospital.
For the purpose of this recording, could you please tell us the name of the doctor?
Dr. Warber, I believe her name was.
Okay. You picked up a call to drop her off at the hospital.
Yes.
Around what time was that?
Probably around 6 p.m., between 5:30 and 6, depending on how quick I got a parking spot, which was fairly quick. But, I know my way around to the city and stuff. I drive a lot, so, I know where to get the good parking.
Okay. So tell me what happened after that. So you scooped up the doctor and dropped her off.
I dropped her off. I said, well, I'm going to stick around for the return ride. So I decided to go into the coffee shop.
A smart businessman. Right?
Hey, listen, I'm not going to turn down a fare. I got a very good customer. I figured why drive all the way back if it was going to be a quick visit. So I went in, I got a cup of coffee. I found that a nurse had mispossessed her stuff. So I actually had found her watch, and I went up to the third floor to return it to the nurse.
Okay, around what time was that?
Probably shortly after, maybe 6:15, 6:20. I don't know. I actually found the watch. I didn't look at the watch to see what time it was exactly, but it was probably around that time.
Okay, you can keep going.
All right. Here's where things get a little bit strange. I'm going to ask you to bear with me here. So there's a bit of a commotion. I don't know exactly what's going on, but there's a bit of a commotion coming from a room down the hall from the nurse's station. Mm-hmm. Then, like, some lights go out, and things get a little weird. I was not in the room at this time with any of the patients or, Officer Johannes, and, I was actually in the hallway, and things just got a little weird. I don't know, some strange figure came from down the hallway. It was probably just a nurse or something like that, maybe in a hazmat costume, or, one of those things that, that everybody's wearing these days. It was a little odd. Then we...
How did you know the officer's name? Because I don't think the detective mentioned it.
Oh, well, I'm sort of getting to that part as to where I actually meet Officer Johannes.
So you knew exactly which officer we're talking about, and you interacted with this officer?
Oh, absolutely.
On the last day that they were seen?
Yes.
And you gave me a time disparity because you told me that you scooped up the doctor to take to the hospital between 6 and 6:30, but now you're telling me at 6:15 to 6:20 you were getting a cup of coffee for a return trip.
No, we got to the hospital around 6 o'clock.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure of the exact times. These are just estimates.
No, of course. I mean, I'm asking you to remember something that happened 3 months ago.
Right.
Excuse me, sir, but is everything okay? I hope my note-taking isn't too distracting to you telling your account.
Listen, don't worry about the detective. He's just here as a formality. It's just you and me.
All right, well, listen, as his partner, I'm going to give you a hypothetical. You could take this for what it is, but things got weird. Like weird, like biblical proportion weird. Like, did you ever see the movie Ghostbusters when you were a kid?
Vaguely.
Yeah, right. Like I said, just this is all sort of a hypothetical at this point. You can take it for what it's worth. But, so things get a little crazy. We take this patient out of the bed, and we're defending him from something that seems to be coming for him.
So he had an episode, and you were assisting the doctor.
No, we were sort of assisting the patient. The doctor had left the room, but there was no doctor when I got to the room.
So you were rendering aid during an episode when he was having a mental breakdown. Is that?
Yeah, you could call it that. You could call it a mental breakdown, I guess. Yeah, but we had to evacuate that room because things were getting a little hypothetically crazy.
So the patient completely broke down.
Yeah, for the most part. We had to evacuate the room because there was no power and things were coming after him.
What do you mean by things coming after him? Because the way I understand it, and from what I recall, this was just a simple hospital run.
Yeah,
of a man with a history of mental illness.
I would have liked to have believed that, but things got a little weird. Yeah, at one point, we wound up in the stairwell, and we had gone up to the roof because we could not enter the hospital on any other floor. We were trying to get the patient back into the hospital.
Where was my partner at that time?
He was with us.
So you're telling
the
me
doctor, and I believe you also know Mr. Renard, who is also there. I believe you are familiar with Mr. Renard.
Okay.
Nice fella.
My question is, why do you have a police officer there on scene who has training and experience to handle cases like this? And if things got, as you said, weird, why didn't the call for help go over the radio? Because I would have certainly heard that.
That I have no idea, but people were trying their phones and none of our phones were working. I'm just assuming he may have tried his radio. Things were a little bit hectic. Like, I couldn't tell you everything that Officer Johannes tried. All I could tell you that he was a very, very brave man, and the world could use a lot more people like Officer Johannes.
Why are you talking like he's dead?
Well, I'll get to that point. So we wound up on the roof because it was the only place that we could actually access a doorway to get out of the stairwell.
So, Henry, let me just get this straight. You were one of the last few people to actually see Officer Johannes.
Yes.
You're talking about him in the past tense.
I am.
And you're telling me that you were involved in a situation that would have required more than one police officer, but there was no call for help.
About a call for help, I couldn't help you out with that because...
No radio, nothing.
I said, unless he tried using his radio at some point when things were getting a little haywire, I don't think... I wouldn't know if he tried it or didn't try it. All I know is that our phones were not working.
Okay.
So I'm assuming radios weren't working. Like I said, I know nothing shows up on the hospital surveillance videos. Are you a praying man, Officer Lee?
I think that's not necessary for the sake of this interview. Let's continue.
It might be.
You were heading to the roof, you said.
Yes, because it was the only door that we actually had access to get out of the stairwell.
So you're telling me the lights went out. The only door accessible to you was to the roof?
It was the only door that we could open. We tried other floors to enter back into the hospital, to get the patient to another room and away from what was coming for him.
And communication devices were conveniently not working.
Sadly, yes. I would actually say it's rather inconvenient that they weren't working because I was ready to hit 911 on speed dial.
Okay. So you get to the roof, right?
We get to the roof. Now, here's where sort of things just get very, very hazy and crazy. Some shadowy figures form. It could have been just maybe the tarps playing tricks with our eyes, or these could have been real. They felt real. We fought them. Your partner fought bravely. Like I said, he was amazing. But then some guy in yellow with these dogs, and I use that term very loosely. These were like no dogs I've seen, but they resembled dogs. Burst through the door of the stairwell, which is why it was broken. And he set his dogs upon us and your partner. And these things killed Officer Johannes, as well as the patient.
hypothetically, if this were true, did these dogs eat Officer Johannes?
In my horrified state, I'm not sure that they ate Johannes. I know they ate parts of him.
I mean, this is all hypothetical because, I mean, Henry, listen, we were...
Believe me, I know how I sound right now. I really do.
Especially because we canvassed that hospital later on, and the only thing we found was a door off its hinges. So, what you're saying isn't lining up with what we saw. So you're telling me that my partner passed away, you were the last person to see him, and he was somehow killed in a situation where, I don't know, none of your cell phones were working, he couldn't radio for help, the roof was the only way to go, and let's not forget about the finale, he was eaten or killed by a man in yellow with some kind of animal that looks like a dog?
3 big dogs.
3 big? Oh, so it's 3.
I believe there were 3. I was actually quite horrified.
Uh-huh.
I thought this could have been my mind playing tricks on me, but if it was a trick, it was not a good trick. That is for sure. Like I said, this could be exactly what happened. Like I said, I know it sounds very, very hard to believe, but I can tell you one thing: if we could have saved Officer Johannes, we would have saved Officer Johannes. He was valiant in defending us and defending the patient.
Thank you, Henry. Listen, I'm just going to talk to the detective here, but I'm going to have an officer come and escort you out. For now, we're okay with questioning, but we may call you again in the future.
All right. Yeah, because I figure at this point, anything else I say may be a little bit out there, as if this wasn't a little bit out there to begin with.
No, I don't think it's so out there, you know. Things happen. It's New York.
Yeah, but this was not regular New York. I'm sure some of the others will corroborate my story. I'm even willing to say everything I just said under a polygraph, because I know it's 100% true.
Listen, Henry, don't worry about that. We're gonna talk to everybody else that was there. All right, just
Look, and in all honesty, my deepest sympathies. Officer Johannes was extremely brave in an extremely insane situation.
Right.
All right, sir, Mr. Ricci. Thank you for your time. There's some coffee and some bagels out in the lobby if you want them.
Hey, there we go.
Help yourself to it.
Nothing like a bagel, that's for sure.
We'll be in touch if we need anything else from you. All right.
All right. Like I said, you can take it for what it is, but I know you guys have these things where you could tell when somebody's lying.
Yeah, those aren't even admissible in court, but we appreciate your candor and your honesty.
Just trying to do my job, just trying to do my part. I don't mind helping out because, like I said, that man was a godsend that night. It could have been a lot worse.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, officer. I will grab my bagel and coffee, and I'll head on out now.
All right. Drive safe.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You guys too. Be careful out there.
Thank you, sir.
So you okay? So you heard all that, right?
Yeah. Let's start from the very obvious time disparity. All right. I mean, what time he says he picked up the doctor, what time he puts himself on scene, but then later goes and gives us a different time on scene. A 30-minute disparity.
All of these guys kind of didn't really give us the exact times on anything.
No.
I don't think they were really paying attention, to be honest, which, I mean, it's as good of a defense as it is a terrible one,
Yeah, but here's the thing. My thing is, okay, time disparity by itself isn't an issue, but it's everything that you said afterward. I mean, come on, man. He's one of the last few people to see a fucking cop alive. And what? Cell phones conveniently don't work, the radios don't work, and now he's telling us that my partner's dead. I mean, come on. You don't think that's a little weird?
I'm telling you, I think it's weird. I think everything that has happened is weird because we have an amount of time that these people were just missing, and then they come back and 2 of them are missing. It's like I don't know what to really make of it. But you know what? We still have one more person to talk to. Was the doctor, Dr. Warber, I think is her name.
Listen, do me a favor. Turn that recording off. I just want to speak to her off the record before we start this interview. And I would appreciate it if you don't tell anyone else.
All right. All right. You got it, man.
All right, just walk her in. Let her know she can come in.
Yeah. I'll let her in. All right.
Danny, what's going on? Come in, have a seat.
Where have you been for the past few months?
Where have I been? Doing my job. Been here. Where have you been?
Been at my sister's.
Oh.
What have they told you?
We'll get to that. How's your sister doing?
Really, Nick? Last time you asked, how's my sister doing? You guys dated for a couple of years and then poof, nothing. So let's not go there.
Listen. Technically I am on the clock. No nicknames, please. Just Michael Lee, Officer Lee.
Officer Lee.
No, I mean, it's been a while. I'm thinking about her, just hoping she's okay. But other than that, how you been?
Be honest with you, not great since I got your last phone call.
The reason why you're here, and we're gonna get to that later when I call my partner back in. It's my partner. We haven't seen him. We don't know where he is. And you were one of the last few people that saw him. So this is just, just a courtesy. Like just because of our friendship. This one is off the record for now. We'll put the recorder on later, but I just wanted to know what you think of the situation, what you saw out, and I want to know, not in an official capacity. Where is my partner?
I'm not phrasing this to avoid what really happened or to dance around the subject, but to be completely honest with you, I don't know where he is. I can tell you the events of what happened the last time we saw him, but beyond that, it doesn't even make sense to any reality that I can come up with. And trust me, I've heard stories. I've tried to make sense of other people's sanity, and just what happened that night makes me question my own. I had responded to the call. I showed up to the hospital. I got to see my patient.
Look, we're gonna get to that later, Danny. I mean, like I said, this is unofficial. Was it Henry?
No.
Ricci? Because he's been saying some ridiculous things.
Oh God, no. No, he'd be the last person.
How the hell I don't know. There's just something about this guy and what he said.
Lee, we all had went up to the roof, or that last unconstructed floor, because for some reason we couldn't get out of any door we were in. We were all together. Your partner was there, and there was this, not to sound like my sister all Harry Pottery, but these the mentor-like figures that was just swooping all over the place. They seemed to not want anything to do with us, but your partner was shooting at them, and then the next thing we knew, he just got...
So you're corroborating his story? I mean, come on. You're a professional. You have to admit this is ridiculous.
No, it's crazy, and I know, coming from me, it sounds like I'm accomplice to something. Trust me, I know. I still can't make sense of it, but...
Okay. See, from my point of view, right? The department is investigating the disappearance of an officer. Right?
Did they find his head?
What? No, he's missing. Unless, of course, this is in fact a murder case, in which case, Henry would be suspect number one. And kind of seems like you're kind of covering for him right now.
Henry is no longer,
Sorry, Mr.
You know.
Ricci. Reiki, whatever the hell that guy's name was.
both my patient and your partner didn't make it out that night.
Okay, I understand that the patient's missing, but
No, you're not understanding. They're
officer
not
is
missing. They're just
missing.
taken away by some crazy ass dark force, ripped apart, and then poof, their bodies are gone. Like,
Okay.
I'm sure your department went up there.
Yes, and we found a regular roof with no signs of a struggle. So
then what? You're trying to tell me
now,
that magic is somehow fucking real?
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm just telling you. From our point of view, we have a missing officer. Doesn't look like foul play, but the more this Ricci guy is talking, I don't know. He's one of the last few people to be seen with him. And from the department's point of view, when people start to talk about the supernatural, it's either one of two things. Either they're crazy and they have no sense of the world, or they're crazy and they're covering something up. So maybe want to get your story straight before I call the detective over and turn on the recorder.
So what? Am I supposed to do? Lie?
I'm not saying
Number
lie.
one thing you told me never to do.
I'm just telling you, listen, I'm just telling you, you might want to refresh your recollection. Think about it. Because, look, I mean, how ridiculous, you know how ridiculous you sound. You sound like one of your patients.
Yeah, no, I know.
The job is going to see this as a missing, or possibly maybe you guys are right, and it is a murder. Which, in that case, all of you who have been with him in the last moments that he was seen would all be considered suspects, and the nature of these interviews would be completely different. I would have to call you all back in. Can you at least try to understand where I'm coming from?
Understand where you're coming from, and it's impossible for me to ask you to do the same. I mean, hey, listen, you're right. I do sound like I am one of my patients. These are stories I was hearing from John Henry himself. I was telling him that these were monsters that he was manifesting in his mind to compare to trauma that he's experienced. So how do you think I feel when I realize that my patient wasn't bullshitting me and that these monsters are possibly real?
So you're gonna stand by this? You're gonna say that shadow monsters came and spirited away an officer and a patient?
Probably just gonna say the general truth that, power went off, we were all together, we heard shots, power went back on, and he was nowhere to be found.
All right, Danny, listen, I'll give you some advice as a friend. You can refuse to answer any questions. You can walk away anytime you want, because this is an interview. You're not being accused of anything. Until, of course, the investigation turns that way, in which case it would be something completely different. But just letting you know your options. All right? No, I'm gonna call in this guy, and we'll get started. Give me a second, okay? Detective.
Everything good in here, Officer Lee?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Let's start the recording. Come on, let's go.
All right.
You could take the lead on this one.
Sure, if you insist. All right. I'm just gonna hit record right here. Hope you don't mind, Miss, or actually, Dr. Warber, is it?
Yes, it's Dr. Warber.
Good evening. My name is Detective Yanni Bolero. You know my partner, Officer Michael Lee, for this. Like we've mentioned briefing, we're just gonna ask you a couple questions. We've talked to a few of the people, the individuals that you were with the night of the incident, October 13th. But we want to kind of hear it from you. What exactly happened? So first off, I want you to tell me about the events leading up to the disappearance of Officer Johannes and Mr. Jonathan Henry, I believe.
Yes. So Jonathan Henry is a patient of mine that I had gotten a call from Officer Lee regarding that he was taken to the hospital. And,
and Officer Lee just called you straight up to let you know about this?
Well, no. So I was listed as his seeing therapist, and the doctors at the hospital needed my consultation before deciding on a transfer for my patient.
Yes, of course. Okay, that tracks. Okay, move on. Moving right along.
I mean, to be honest with you, don't remember much. It was a while ago, but after I had showed up at the hospital, my patient was asleep when I first arrived. I had met the EMT, and I had also met Officer Johannes there as well. You know, both seemed like level-headed people.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
We had.
Yes. Sorry.
We had a blackout. I don't know if.
Yeah, the hospital, the security at the hospital did mention something about blackout. And then they also mentioned something about how your floor was acting a little tricky. Do you have any more detail on that, or is it just a blur at that point with everything?
It was a blackout, and we had my patient freak out for a moment, and so we went to go see what was happening, but no staff could be found.
That's a little strange. Blackout. You'd figure nurses and doctors would be rushing to and fro in a place like that.
That's what we thought. So we decided to check another floor to see if there's possible more staff around. But once we were in the staircases, for some reason, we couldn't get out of there.
That's like, were the doors locked, or were you having like a hallucinogenic breakdown of some kind?
No, the doors seemed to be blocked.
All right. Moving on. So you're in the stairwell now. How many of you were there in the stairwell at this point? It was you, Officer Johannes, Jonathan Henry, and who else?
There were 3 more that were with us. The EMT, who was in the room with us, because we had all left together. We had also ran into my driver.
Your driver? Okay.
Who was in the hallway returning after getting a cup of coffee, which I had offered to pay for him.
Understood.
He was probably just checking up on me, figuring out if he should stick around longer to give me a ride back.
All right, that makes sense.
And there was someone else there, I believe a Nikki. Can't recall her last name, but she seemed to be working on the construction of the hospital.
What is this? Going through my notes here. Miss Nikki Weller, I think. Is that it?
Yeah. I believe so. I believe they were trying to access the elevator, but the elevator was also not in service. It seemed like after the blackout happened, everything just kind of shut down.
That's a little... that's weird. I mean, it's a hospital. Hospital generators should kick on right away with the, in case of anything, just so patients don't die.
You would think, but then again, from what I hear, that hospital has been having some faulty issues, so that's not my department.
All right, fair. All right, so moving on from there. Stairwell, there's, what is this, 6 of you now in the stairwell, can't get out of it. Tell me what you do from there. What happened?
After a while, we continue to try just to get out of the stairwell. We managed to make our way to a floor that is still being under construction. Upstairs, and due to the blackout, everything was just very dark. Last thing I can recall were shots being fired. My patient was yelling at something coming toward him. Me and the others got afraid, tried to find a way out, made our way back into the stairwell, and by the time we came back downstairs, the lights were back on, the staff had returned, and we found out that the two were missing.
I see. All right. All right. So, Dr. Warber, sorry. It's odd. We've talked to a few of you now. I think all of you at this point. You're the last one, and the last guy we talked to, Mr. Ricci. He seemed to be pretty adamant about these things following you the whole time, and saying something about Officer Johannes died, and quite possibly also your patient, John Henry. Are you sure you can't remember anything about that?
No, all I've heard is that they've been missing and that they haven't been found, and which is a concern of mine since John Henry is my patient.
All right. I think that's about it, right? I mean, nothing further. You know what? I'll walk her out. I think we're done.
All right. That's fine. Miss, we're gonna be in touch. This is still an ongoing investigation. It has been for a while now. We're gonna be in touch. Again, as of this moment, you aren't being held liable for anything that has happened. If anything has happened, that may change, but we'll let you know either by force or otherwise, through the extent of the law. But on the way out, please enjoy a nice cup of coffee. We got some bagels out in the front. And thank you for being so cooperative tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Danny, come on. Just follow me. Oh,
What
okay.
kind of bagels are we talking about? Are they like the good bagels?
No, they're fucking trash. They've been sitting there for like at least 3 days. I don't know what the hell that other guy was so excited for.
We can't even get the good ones from Queens, I'm telling you.
Bruh. Good job in there. Honestly. Yeah, I mean, just a friendly piece of advice. This might turn into something more based on what, Ricci said. But I'm glad you listened to me. I mean, we'll stay in touch. I know we haven't been keeping in touch that often. And, that's something that I'm gonna work on. So, yeah, I'll shoot you a text later, alright?
Just, stay safe out there.
Yeah, no, of course, always. Alright, Danny. I'll see you later.
See ya.
Alright, so, Lee, let's just sit here and let's talk about this now. We've had 3 months, and our biggest leads are these 4 people that we talked to today. And I don't know about you, but it feels like they're leaving something out, something important.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of them... Well, the biggest thing for me is Ricci, because it's like, my gut's telling me switch this into a criminal investigation, and that this is no longer just a regular missing. Why
do you say that?
Well, let's see. He gave us a time disparity. He gave us like this ridiculous story. I don't know, man. Just something just about him rubs me the wrong way. I mean, nobody said anything of substance.
Well, I think that's kind of why I'm feeling this way. So, of all the people, he gave us something. He at least gave us something. Does it sound like he belongs in the loony bin? Yes. But the time disparities, they all kind of have that. They got about this, about that time, you know? It seems like they were really, discombobulated by whatever was going on.
And
But
what
we
the
don't know what was going on.
Okay, but what the hell do you think about that whole? Oh, the power went out, but the emergency generator never kicked in. The
So,
radio didn't work. I understand the cell phones, but the radio?
so according to hospital, emergency generators did kick back on. So according to security, power went out. It was very quick. Emergency generators kicked back on. But the third floor, where all of them were kind of situated, that seemed to, the cameras weren't working right. Or if they did, it took it a little longer. Which is why we have the security cam footage. It shows like a half hour later, the cameras kick back on, and they're all gone. And then the next time we see them is the four of them are coming down from in the stairwell. Something happened on that
roof.
Well, we have to figure that out. We have to figure out what happened. And as much as you want to turn this into a criminal investigation because of Mr. Ricci, I actually think Ricci might be our biggest asset right now. He told us something. So it's something unbelievable, but something.
The crazy guy.
You say crazy, I say intuitive. Insightful. There's you see a lot of things, and sometimes you just trust. You gotta learn to put your trust into the smallest of chances. But anyway, I want to know what you plan on doing at this point, Officer Lee.
What are you talking about? I mean, you're lead investigator on this. What do you want to do?
Well, I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to know what happened to our officer. I want to know what happened to this patient. And you have a rapport with Mr. Renard from this morning and Dr. Warber from this evening. I feel like maybe you take a little extra time and try to figure out what's going on with them. They seemed a little off when they were talking.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I should recuse myself of this one, just because I know two of the witnesses, and this could be criminal. I mean, listen, I know. You don't think it is.
Listen, stick with it for now, and the second you find actual criminal evidence, then we can excuse you. We can take you right off. I think in this moment, your empathy towards these people might actually be a boon versus a burden. You get what I'm saying, Lee?
Yeah. All
right. So that's it. We're gonna keep our ears to the ground, eyes to the sky, or whatever it is, and we're gonna keep working on this. We're gonna crack this open. We're gonna find him. It's only a cold case when you give up. So we're not giving up, not yet.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go home, heat up some frozen dinners, and cry while hugging my cat. So.
See, I told you had trash taste. Frozen dinners. This explains your taste in bagels.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, Officer Lee.
Night.
All right. Oh God. Date January 14th. 03:14 a.m. So, I went back and listened to all the tapes, and I feel bad for tricking Officer Lee like that. I slipped a recorder into his pocket and in a few spots around the room, because as much as I trust him, I need to know what's going on. As much as he doesn't trust Mr. Ricci, I do. Because each of them, all four of them, kind of had something weird about them. Like they'd seen something, but didn't know what to make of it, so they couldn't really put it into words. I went back to the hospital. I went there because, well, I had to talk to Miss Weller's boss. And just talk to him about his operation at the hospital. and what Miss Weller plays in that role there. And it's pretty enlightening. You know, he told me about all these weird happenstances, circumstances, whatever you want to call it, in his construction zone. People getting hurt seemingly out of nowhere. And, you know, he keeps wanting to slow down the construction just for safety. And he can't. He can't. Because the people who are paying his paycheck, this Revelations Incorporated, they need it done. They're the ones who pushed the new annex that Miss Weller's working on. So we'll see how that goes. But I digress. I went back to the hospital, talked to him, and then I checked out the roof, or the floor that they were talking about, the one with the door off its hinges, and well, I found some things there. I found I found grains of sand up there, and you think, oh, that's probably normal with a construction site or what have you. But there were no sandbags up there. Yeah, sure, there was sackcrete, but no sand. I don't understand that bit. But it's freaking me out, because along with the bits of sand, I did find a little bit of dried blood in a few different spots on the roof. And it's reminding me of a story I heard when I was a kid. Something that they used to tell you in order to keep you in line when you were shitty or bratty. They told you the story of the Sandman. And this ain't no, like, fairy tale do-gooder that helps you go to sleep. No. The Sandman comes for naughty kids. You know, it was like the boogeyman almost. And, well, there was a line that sticks out. Something even to this day I remember. The Sandman comes for the restless and weary. I don't know. It's that popped into my head when I found the Sandman and no sackcrete. And it just made me think about all the stories, the tall tales of children being spirited away, and all that was left was just a bit of sand in their stead, to signify that it was the Sandman who took them. I'm worried that we have found ourselves in a situation that we won't be able to walk away from. And I'm sorry that I put Officer Lee in that position. Just one thing of note before I end this recording. During the recording of Mr. Remy Renaud, the EMT from Mount Sinai, there was something funny with the recording. It was like there was a layer of, like, static, white noise over the whole room. I mean, I was in that room before, and I didn't hear that when I was there. So for me, it's not so bad. But listening back, and the part where the static just grows and grows and grows, I can't even remember what it was supposed to be that he said. He said something. And I just accepted it as the truth, whatever it was he said, and I don't know. That's a mystery for another day. This has been Detective Yanni Bolero in regards to missing Officer Nicholas Johannes and missing patient Jonathan Henry on the date of October 13th, 2020. End recording. This bonus episode of Call of Cthulhu Apocalypse Now is brought to you by the Nothing Venture Nothing Gamed Patreon. It's thanks to you that we can continue to do fun things like this. Today's cast included Zach as Detective Yanni Bolero, Nick as Officer Michael Lee, Tina as Nikki Weller, Fabio as Remy Renard, Jeff as Henry Ricci, and Tafy as Dr. Danielle Warber. If you're looking for more, keep an eye out on our website for character biographies and episode recaps at www.mvngpodcast.com. And remember, this is only the beginning of the end. The sadness.